in 2007, 2008, right as the mortgage industry was crashing, I got a DUI. And the way I got the DUI is I went out at 5 o'clock, had a bunch of cocktails, probably 5 or 6, after work with a bunch of friends. I worked in Burbank, right across the street from my office. And it was kind of weird because the banking center we worked in, the banking center was locked down, but then there was a vestibule and another door where you could go upstairs to the mortgage office. So all the mortgage people had a key. We'd come in, work 4 in the morning, work till midnight, whatever. So I go have a bunch of drinks with the guys. I go back to the office and I worked for like 5 or 6 hours, processing mortgage paperwork. At the time, I was like a junior partner for somebody. So put in like 5 or 6 hours. I'm drinking sodas, drinking water, whatever, taking a piss, probably ate some more food. Honestly, did not think twice about the fact that I was impaired enough to not drive. And of course, that's what everybody thinks when they've had a few drinks. So I get in the car at like 12:30, 1 o'clock. I'm speeding home. I got pulled over for speeding, which is apparently a telltale sign of not being drunk. Because when people are drunk driving, they're driving really slow because they're trying to be overly cautious. And I was just like speeding because I didn't think I was drunk. So I get pulled over. The cop writes me a ticket for speeding. At the time, I still had my military ID, so I like trying to get out of the speeding ticket, handed over my military ID and my driver's license at the same time. She writes me the ticket for speeding. She brings the thing back. Stupid me didn't roll down the windows. I guess I burped or something. It smelled like alcohol. And she's like, hey, by the way, sir, have you been drinking? And I'm like, oh, yeah, like at 5 o'clock, I had some drinks for happy hour, but I haven't drank in 7 hours. She's like, out of the car. So whatever, they arrest me. I go down to the station. I blew a 0.09 and the tolerance in California is a 0.08. So I talked to a lawyer and the lawyer's like, hey man, couple things. The stop was not for anything drunk driving related. She clearly didn't have a feeling that you were impaired because she took the time to write the ticket that said that you were getting a speeding ticket instead. You're right on the border. There's some weird science things where like 0.08 is close enough to 0.09. I think we can go to trial and get this dismissed, or at least get you a wet reckless, which in California is like a downgrade. It's not considered a DUI. It's like a misdemeanor instead of this or whatever. It's like a better thing on your criminal record. Yeah. All right. So we go to court. We sat through like this 3-day trial where my attorney caught the police officer blatantly lying like 4 times. Like the police officer is just saying exactly what she needs to get a conviction for a DUI. So for example, we asked the cop, well, did you notice that he was drinking? And she's like, oh yeah, right away. You know, that he was potentially impaired. She's like, yeah, right away. He's like, oh, okay. Well then why did you write the speeding ticket prior to the next ticket that you wrote, which was, you know, the write-up for a DUI? She's like, oh, I didn't write him a speeding ticket. He's like, okay, well, can I see the logbook from that day? Because every ticket book has like a ticket, you know, carbon copy of the ticket. She's like, no, that was lost. And she's like, wait a minute. So your entire book of like 200 tickets or however many comes in that ticket book, that one just happened to be lost? And she's like, yeah, that was lost. So we have no proof that like she's basically lying. Then she lied about something else. Then she lied about something else. And my attorney was so floored by the fact that she was lying. He like didn't even know where to go with the questioning, because he had this whole line of questioning, you know, predicated on the facts of the case. And she just so blatantly lied about the facts, he didn't know where to go. So then they bring on like a bunch of these chemical experts to talk about stuff that I don't understand. And he basically asked the prosecution's chemical expert if she knew about this very basic term, which effectively means you can have a bunch of drinks, get in your car and drive home, and maybe at that time that you were driving, your blood alcohol had not yet peaked over 0.08, but by the time they arrest you, they process your car, they get you to the station to make you blow into the little machine at the station, and then it blows 0.09. Maybe your blood alcohol level has actually risen since you were in the car. So maybe even though those drinks are in your system, they were starting to process through. When you were driving, maybe you weren't breaking the law because you were at 0.06, but by the time you get to the police station, enough alcohol is absorbed into your bloodstream that now you're blowing an illegal limit. So he asked her this very basic science question. And this is the lady that has, you know, PhD in chemical science. She's the go-to expert witness for LAPD and Glendale Police Department. He asked her this very basic science question, and she goes, oh, I'm not aware of that. And he was, again, floored, because he's like, wait a minute. No, you're lying to me. This is like a basic, like, chemical reading of DUI Protocol 101. She's like, yeah, I'm not familiar with that. I can't comment on that. So, like, just you know, at the end of the day, I'll tell you the funny part of the end of the story. At the end of the day, like both the police officer and the expert witness blatantly out and out lied to try to get a conviction, which they did. I was found guilty. And then the judge was so mad that I had wasted 3 of his days using my constitutional right to trial, that he straight up told me and my lawyer in front of us, he's like, you wasted my time. I am going to give you the maximum possible sentence that doesn't involve jail time. So whereas for your first DUI, you'll usually get like, all right, you got to go to 10 AA sessions and you get, 50 community service hours. I got 200 community service hours. I had to go to 100 DUI meetings. Maybe it was 50. I think it was 100. I had to get an interlocking device on my car, which my lawyer goes, dude, I've done hundreds of DUI cases. I'll have people that are on their 3rd DUI and they don't get a requirement to put an interlocking device on their car where you have to blow into it before your car starts. So not only did the cop lie and then the expert witness lie, the judge basically punished me for executing on or utilizing my constitutional right by trial by jury. And the only silver lining is that when I went to go sign up for the 200 hours of community service, the community service hour director thought that it was total bullshit what happened to me. And so she gave me some super cush job working at like an art gallery. And then I went to the art gallery and they're like, dude, you're not a threat to society. Let's just sign off on this. Help us plan this gala. And we'll count that for like your 100 or 200 hours of community service. So after going through that in my 20s, I had a much different opinion of the criminal justice system. And I'm like, dude, I'm smart. I don't have a criminal record. I could pay at the time $10,000 for an attorney, and I got railroaded. What chance does some inner city kid with a limited education and no access to a private attorney, how badly do they get fucked? And that really sent me down the path of like, I don't think I'm a Republican. I think I'm a libertarian because our justice system needs some serious reform. So, that's my DUI story.
Yeah.